she's supported EXP for a long time, so we appreciate it.
So yeah, I probably shouldn't say this out loud, but I'm kind of partial to EXP. Don't tell anybody, because technically speaking, I'm supposed to love everybody equally.
No such thing.
Who's
I'm
supporting?
a little partial to these guys. So basically, my name is Glenda Pierce, and I work for a company called Restoration One. So where I am useful to you guys is, we all know in the wonderful world of real estate, nobody tells you everything until you get there, and then you find out all the things. So, with that being said, the perfect example, and the most kind of aggressive one to give, I guess, would be, one of Micah's agents from many moons ago, actually one of her original agents, but had a listing for a home in Mustang. And on a Friday, he went over to do some staging and noticed that there had been a leaking faucet for an extended period of time. The home was not occupied, the homeowner had already moved. They had a showing on Sunday. So imagine you're the realtor, you're walking in, making sure your staging's good, you're thinking awesome, last minute touches, cleaning, yada yada yada, and half of the house, the predominant half of the house that you're showing, like the bedrooms, are covered in 2 foot of water and the floors are buckled. Who knows what to do next? Anybody?
Call you.
Yes! Good answer! You get a gold star. Freak out, they call me. No, don't freak out. Take a deep breath, but pick up your phone and call me, okay? We were able to get in that day. We got the water extracted. I have a system, and this is what's really important about the floors in your house, especially when it comes to laminate flooring, and I'm sure you guys see this a lot. We have a floor mat drying system that we can put in the floors. We specialize in saving your floors, which is a huge deal. I don't know if you guys have much experience in redoing floors in 3 days, but it's not fun and it's not cheap. So that's the best example I can give you. I do water, fire, mold remediation. I do have a construction company that's a sister company. I am not a roofer, okay? I'm not a roofer. Can I help you find a roofer? Yes. Technically speaking, does my sister company do roofs? Yes. But that's not our specialty. So if you have someone that you favor and you love and you trust and you know and you like, keep them and hold on to him tight and give me his phone number so I can use him as well. So my name's Glenda. I'll give you a card if you haven't had one. If you have questions, let me know. Use me as a resource. Even if I don't do it, don't not call me, because I can help you. I had a lady the other day, lives in an apartment. She's got mold. She's a senior citizen. She has no insurance. She has no recourse. She has no.
Ham moody.
Oh yeah, you can just set it over
And
there
then
at the table.
tomato basil as well.
Tomato basil.
You buy a couple tomato basil?
So I was able to get that particular young lady in touch with a nonprofit here in Oklahoma that works with senior citizens, both on the legal side and on the relocation side in that instance, because she has no money, she can't afford an attorney. She called the health department. They pretty much told her to go take a walk because they were too busy. And my hands are tied because I can't do anything either because she can't pay for it, and I mean that in a nice way. But so long story short, use me as a resource and as a tool. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. We appreciate it. So Glenda's been one of our recurring sponsors, so obviously we believe in what you do and appreciate it. So awesome. Well, I am super, super excited to get this going today. Now, not to be confused, I know the graphic says every Thursday. We are doing this on a weekly basis, but we're still kind of playing with around with the days to see which day of the week works best. We'll be in Vegas next week for EXP Con, so the following week we're going to do it on Friday the 11th, I believe. So you guys are more than welcome to invite any real estate agents. So just want to kind of do a brief introduction. My name is Micah. William is getting not to call him out while he's eating. Everybody look at William. So we are both with EXP. I've personally been with EXP. Actually, next month it'll be 5 years. EXP is 10 years strong, so super excited. 5 years ago, believe it or not, I was agent number 333 across the country, so it was EXP who. Nobody heard of us, they just thought we were this leader, right? Crazy little avatars walking around and didn't quite know what to think of us. So I've really enjoyed seeing it come to where we are today, which is 22,000 agents strong. We're actually the fastest growing real estate brokerage in American history. So I think that's absolutely incredible. And I think their kitchen's right there, so we'll hear some things from time to time. William joined us about 18 months ago, is that correct?
January 18th.
So and he'll be able to tell you the numbers, so don't quote me on this, but you know, I believe he was number 3 at his local KW office, 16 at one point nationwide, so it's definitely a blessing to have him join our group. So what we want to show you guys today is really the opportunity with EXP. And the reason we're so passionate about this is because it's more than just a real estate brokerage. You know, a lot of real estate agents, we're out there, we're here to help represent buyers and sellers. But what I believe EXP does is creates a lifestyle. And if you look at even some of these quotes here, we're out there still representing buyers and sellers, but it also gives us more opportunity, which is really interesting and one of the things that I think makes us most unique. So we have to owe it all to this man, Glenn Sanford, who was our CEO of EXP World Holdings and founder. He was the tech nerd that was building computers in his garage, and then also lead generating in the early 2000s, if you guys can imagine that. He was with Keller Williams. He started out was with Keller Williams and quickly became one of their top real estate teams internationally, and kind of hit that glass ceiling. And I'll just kind of pause as they bring the food in.
Kimber?
Thank you. So as many of us do, you hit that glass ceiling of, you know, you're going after the buyers and sellers, right? Does anybody else know about the real estate roller coaster, or is it just me? Yeah. Right? Oh, come on, yeah, you do. So, you know, if you hit that glass ceiling, is like, what do I do next? And your options are either to become a broker owner or purchase into a franchise, right? So he did that, and he opened up 3 offices in 2008 in several different states. And what happened in 2008? Wait, can we do that again? Can we replay? Right, so market crashes. And so in 2009, he really sat there and he's like, I can't keep doing this. There's got to be another way. So, you know, the best of the best always say there's got to be a better way, right? And he sent a link to his staff and said, on Monday morning, don't go to the office. This is where you're going to go to, and that's where EXP Realty was found. So we are an online virtual company, but we're much more than that, and we'll be able to explain. There we go. Well, it switched on my computer, but it's not switching up there. There we go. Okay, so if you really look at the historical trends, we all went to Blockbuster, right? That was the thing to do. Friday night, go to Blockbuster, and then make sure you take it 2 days later, or else what happens, Moody? And that was not planned at all, so I'm glad he was paying attention. So somebody would know, because, you know, they charge late fees, and, you know, we had a whole pile of them when you wouldn't take them back. So Netflix comes along, right? You've got the big gorilla in the industry. It's Blockbuster. Netflix approaches Blockbuster, and they just really shoo them off, okay? Well, what happens? Blockbuster is no more, right? Because now we are able to watch our movie just by streaming live.
You like that pizza? Pizza?
Pizza, pizza. Glenn did not write her name on the top.
No, because I suck at life. Thank you. I thought about that after I ate it. I did not get it out.
Or sell it on your pizza. I see some veggies. I see some green. Yeah, we'll go with that. So, so what happens? You know, Netflix really takes over. Why? Because you can have things at an instant, and you're not having to waste time going back and forth to the store any longer. Same thing with Amazon. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I am surprised there's a mall still across the street. Okay, I think they're going to have to do something about that, because it's too easy for the same price to be, if not sometimes cheaper, to get stuff on Amazon. And that's really what EXP is doing now in the real estate world. So it's natural. All the other industries are going online. Why wouldn't we do the same with real estate? Okay, and what that enables us to do is reduce our cost and give more money back to the agents. Because what we don't realize is it's really nice to have those big fancy offices, and I'm not talking negative of them, but at the end of the day, it's the agents that are paying for it. And so just keep that in mind. Now, I want you to kind of look at the screen and look at the differences. What are some of the differences between Hilton and Airbnb? Just throw out some answers.
One of them owned real estate, one of them don't.
That was the tagline after they answered the question.
Ruined it.
So, since he already busted it, You know, a lot of people will talk about the age differences, you know, 99 years versus their value. But the interesting thing is Airbnb doesn't own any real estate, right? But look at the valuation compared to the Hilton. So that's really kind of an interesting, same thing with Uber. Do they own any cars? No. So again, that's where the rest of the world is going. It's only makes sense for real estate to go there too.
To maybe add some of that, so Shift is the same concept, if you think about it, right?
Right.
Does anybody in here use Shift? You know what I'm talking about? So basically, I pay $100 a year to have my groceries delivered to me.
Mm-hmm.
So I get on my phone, pick my groceries out, someone comes to my house and drops them off. Same concept, but they don't own the cars. They're 1099 employees. So
Right. No, I do the same thing with like, you know, home, what is it, Home Chef, whatever we use.
Yeah.
So yeah, so it's really nice. But yeah, you're right. Like even I've ordered stuff from Walmart and they just use the Postmates people, so they're just referring it out at well. So yeah, great point. And the whole thing is just understanding that's where the rest of the world is going, right? And there's reasons for that. So there are really 4 primary reasons of why an agent would look at EXP and really what makes us different. And number 1, it's going to be our powerful lead generation. William is the master at this, so I'm going to pass it off to him at that point. We've got world-class training. We actually had 75 hours of live training in our cloud office last week. So one of the misconceptions is we're virtual, we're on this island all by ourselves, but that couldn't be further from the truth, right? So we are these avatars, which you'll see, but there's a lot of collaboration that happens in our cloud office. We actually get stock awards because we're not a franchise, and I have on there say, what does anybody else in here get stock at their real estate brokerage? Have your name tag.
EXP.
And so we actually all become shareholders in the company, which is not only nice financially, but it creates a form of collaboration unlike anything I've ever seen before. And then the revenue sharing expansion, we'll just get into that number. We'll leave you hanging on that one. So here's some of the differences between your typical franchise and EXP. You've got your costly overhead, you're locally confined. So even though you may have some great training in your office, you're still going to typically grow as much as your team leader, your broker, right? Because that's where all the training is coming from. You've got inconsistent growth incentives and limited technology and support. Now, with EXP, because of our cloud-based environment and the live training that we have, now I mentioned, it says 40 hours. We had 75 hours last week. We have real-time support. We have 400 employees in our cloud office to help support our agents. So anything from tech support to accounting to brokerage ops, it's no different than walking into your office and needing some support. And that creates international collaboration. So when we say you're partnering with the best of the best in the world, I truly mean that. You're learning from real estate agents and brokers from across the world on a daily basis. Okay, and then of course we've got the powerful equity opportunity of being a shareholder. So lead gen, I'm going to pass it off to the master, but he's just doing awesome at this, so he's going to be able to explain it much better than myself. But.
Thank you. So just to piggyback on that training, I onboarded somebody this week, and then he came to my office yesterday, and I said, hey, look at all the training schedules for the next couple days. He just texted me a little bit ago, and he's like, I've been in the 9 o'clock training, 11 o'clock training, I'm going to 1:30 training. So he's in training all day, and he's at his house, pops open his computer, and these trainings are like literally people from California, from New York, from Florida. They're the top agents giving these classes on listing presentations or KV4 I'm about to go into. I mean, it's amazing that you can pop your computer open and listen to the top agents or the people who are doing, the best in that area just give a live training right there in front of your computer. Super cool. Anyways, he was so impressed by that. I just had to bring that up because he just texted me that while you're talking about it.
Now at that point, if he's taking 3 in one day, I'll say get your head out of the cloud. I know a few agents that.
Well, he just came on, so just like,
He's excited. That's funny.
get your head out of the cloud.
I like that. That's good.
So, we just saw a screen about the 4 reasons that, that people are attracted to EXP. One of them was lead generation. And so, this is something that I've done in my career, or, my short 5-6 year career in real estate, very well. And so I knew that in any business, you need leads. In any business, you need people to talk to. And so the biggest thing that any company or any person has in real estate is, who do I talk to how do I reach them? Where do they come from? Just because at the end of the day, your phones just don't ring, especially nowadays. Your phones just aren't ringing. You can't just sit around and have your phone ring. So when I got into real estate, I understood this. I joined Century 21 as a buyer's agent, and I had plenty of leads coming, and I was converting them, did very well. But they didn't have any platforms. They didn't have any big, databases. The technology wasn't there with Century 21, so I kind of outgrew that role and outgrew, the growth there. So my next step was, I want technology, I want growth, I want something, where I can tap into. So I joined Keller Williams, and they had at that time exactly what I needed. They had some training, they had some areas where I could go find, help with building a lead gen system and things of that nature. So naturally I went to Keller Williams. And what I found was when I went to there, I grew a big business there. I really did. And I grew it off of lead generation. So what I did was I flew around to the different, Keller Williams, Austin and all these different cities that had these big conventions, and I had them, I went and masterminded with, some of the top agents, and I was picking their brain on what they were doing and, what they were using and how they were getting leads, because I knew I needed leads, I knew I needed a system. So I created my own system with Commissions Inc., big platform, Boomtown, big platform, and so I was paying, $1,500, $2,000, sometimes almost $3,000 a month between the platforms and the lead gen to generate, people to talk to generate leads. And I built my business on it. I did it at a high level because I spent the money on these platforms and built a plan around it. So when Mike and Hamudi were talking to me about EXP, one of the things that got brought up was the technology, was the lead generation system. And I said, well, who are you using? Like, how do I get access? I already have Commissions Inc. I already have Boomtown. I'm already spending thousands of money, so that was something that I had to weigh. And they presented KV Core. Well, for your tech fee, which is, and Mike will get into the numbers here in a second, but with $50 a month for your tech fee, which splits between a couple things, you get access to KV Core. Well, before KV Core, it was called Conversion. And I actually dabbled into conversion. I spent $1,000 a month just on the platform. So I was familiar with it, and I thought, wow. So if I join KV Core, I can get, or join EXP, I can get KV Core's big platform, which is huge, right? Because it's gonna save me $1,500 a month. So with KV Core, it's built just like Commissions Inc. It's built just like Boomtown. It's built just like those big databases where you can literally generate your own organic leads, post it on Facebook, run Google ads if you want. You can do this organically, and we do it at a high level. And so through this platform, you can generate organically 100, 150 leads a month if you did it consistently, easily. Or they have an option where you can pay them to do it. So for an extra $500 a month, you can get them to pump Google leads or Facebook leads right into your platform. And we do this as well. We do it organically, and I pay, for them to do it as well. On top of it. On top of that, you can get your Realtor.com or Zillies or like whatever you're doing, you can get them to funnel right into KV Core. And then KV Core builds auto plans, auto text, auto email. We have our video bomb hooked to it. And so you can, send them videos. You can do all that, guys. And the biggest thing is, okay, how do I get them? The question's answered, Facebook, Google, or pay them to do it. When I get them, what do I do? Well, you set up automated text, automated emails. You automate it to where you're always reaching out to them. It's all done in this platform. It's so powerful, guys. It's so powerful. Tiffany, she's part of my team. She just came on. She's doing super well with these leads, with this system, and it's just because she tapped into it, right? And that's the thing. That's the biggest thing. They have all these tools and technology, but if you really tap into it and you dive into it, it comes with being a part of EXP, this big platform. Look, so I think it's $1,000 a month outside of EXP, but super powerful. Leads are the number one things that people are looking for. and they give you this platform as an opportunity to do that with. So it's powerful, guys. I mean, we literally generate over 100 leads a month, and probably 70% of them are organic. And we run our organic leads right out of this platform, right out of the platform. So yeah, big system, leads. So for me, one of the biggest things for me was I didn't want change. I didn't think I needed change. I mean, we were doing just throw a roundabout number somewhere in the low 20 million a year range. So I was like, I'm fine, where I was at before. But one of these quotes kept popping up, which is Jay Kinder, and I love it because it actually hit me, and it happened to me. It's like, once you see it, it's hard to unsee, right? So once I allowed myself to finally sit down with Hamudi and Micah and just say, okay, it was let me see it because I want you to leave me alone.
Hey, now I thought you were friends. Actually, we did corner him at a Christmas party.
We were friends. It wasn't on a personal level. It was more of, I'm fine on that. But when I saw the business model and I saw the opportunity, I was like, wow. And those 4 things that she mentioned are so true. One of the top 4 reasons. And so one of them is that we are agent-owned company. We truly own this company. We are shareholders. We trade on NASDAQ. And so all of this stuff is black and white. It's all on your back end, right? It's all on your back end. It's black and white. So you see every single thing that happens. Whatever they tell you is true because you can see it. So you earn a share on your first transaction. You earn shares. I know Micah knows the numbers. I don't. But I know if you sell your first transaction, you get
200 and 400. So I think it's 200 for your first, 400 when you cap.
They give it to you, right? They just give it to you. Hey, appreciate you selling your first transaction. We're gonna give you shares of stock. When you cap, our cap's 16,000. We're on an 80-20 split. When you hit that 6,000, hey, we appreciate you working hard. We appreciate you being a part of this business and this company. We're gonna give you shares for what you just went out and did, which was go out and sell real estate, produce at a high level. We're gonna give you shares. When you sponsor an agent, they give you shares. When you sponsor an agent and when that agent closes their first transaction, they give you shares. And all this stuff is like, it shows you every time they give you shares. It's right there. That number is there, and then it tallies up. I mean, and it's always adding up. It's actually pretty cool. Icon agent. This is something that really tugged at me when they started, really unfolding this model, and I started really looking at it. Icon agent. Nobody else does this. There's not another company that does this. This really tugged me. I was like, wow, this is awesome because I'm already doing it. Icon agent. When you cap and hit your 16,000 on 80-20 split, at that point, if you do another 20 transactions, and there's a $250 transaction fee after that. Once you cap, $250 transaction fee. Once you hit 20 transactions and pay the company in $5,000,
So sorry.
Thank you.
they give you your $16,000 back in stock. And now that's split up 12. You get 12 back in stock, and then they'll give you 2 and 2. You have to attend an event, which, I mean, at any company, guys, they have yearly events that people attend. And so we're going to one. If you attend an event, they give you the rest of that back. So if you become an Icon agent and get the Icon Award, they literally give all that back to you. It's insane. I really had to sit there and think about that when they told me, like, I get it all back. So, and then they have a 3-year vest. So if you're in real estate and you plan on doing this for a long time, 3 years is nothing.
Goes by fast.
Goes by really fast. That's big, guys. I mean, I don't think any other companies like literally giving you their cap, like your cap back. They're not. And so that I mean, that was something huge that I looked at. And then the agent equity program. This is optional. I'm a part of it, but you can take 5% of your commissions every commission. So $100,000 house, let's say you make $3,000, whatever, you know. So that commission, you take 5% of that commission, and you buy stock through EXP at 20% discount. So you make 20% on your money every time, every commission check, and it just goes like, it's just part of the DA. You don't see it, it's gone. It goes into that back end site that I was telling you, where you see all of that top equity stuff that's happening. You see this getting put into another account, and it's just building and building and building. And it's just, God, they're literally giving you money back and helping you buy at discounts rates. I mean, and you're just building a retirement. You're building a true retirement within real estate. And I can't think of another company that you can literally build a retirement in, because there's no way you can, because they keep all the money. EXP, they're giving it back to you. So I am building a retirement program right now by just selling real estate, by being active, by hitting my caps, by attracting agents, by, you know, selling real estate and getting my 5% commission. I'm just building this retirement for my family, and it's amazing that I didn't think I was able to do it. I'm not disciplined. So if I get, you know, a commission check, I'm not disciplined enough to go take it to a stockbroker and have them invest it. I'm not, you know. But they're just doing it for me, which is amazing. So super cool.
Were you ready for that?
Yeah. So this right here, guys, this is what separates. This is one of the biggest things that separates EXP. There's a lot of things, don't get me wrong, but this is one of the biggest ones. This is the one thing that really, really, really caught my attention. Like, this is the one that I was like, okay, this is why this is highlighted, because this is the really part that it's hard to unsee this. So I was part of a company that had a similar type of program where you attract an agent, and if you profit or if something happens, then they'll share it with you. So the concept I understood, but the dollars is what really, really made me start looking. So if you attract an agent, you get 3.5% of their commissions, and it comes from the company, not the agent. 3.5% of their commissions. So the agent keeps theirs, and the company gives you that 3.5% up to $2,800 per agent. So if an agent comes on and they cap, meaning they sell, I don't know, in this market, say, I don't know, $2.5 million in real estate probably is about right, guesstimate here or there. You can cap out at $2,800, and then it just goes down from there. Now, this is something that Micah really, really does at a high level, so I'm gonna let her kind of jump back in and kind of explain this to you. But guys, this is what really, really, when people look at the business model, is what starts pulling them over. Like, okay, this is a game changer. This is something that I really have to look at and really consider is, and you know, long term, in terms of, do I want to open up doors forever? Do I want to take listings forever? If you don't, and you still want to be in the business of real estate, this is what you really have to pay attention to. So I'm gonna kick it back over to Micah.
Awesome, thank you. So remember when I kind of started off with saying that Glenn was trying to look for a better way? How can all real estate agents benefit without having to become a broker owner? That's been the natural cycle. We had to become a broker owner in order to get overrides off additional agents, right? And to have ownership. Well, that's no more. So, and believe me, I've been a managing broker before. It wasn't for me, but it was a great experience. We'll leave it at that. The reason why is he wanted to give the same opportunity to every single agent instead of having to become a broker owner to be able to do it. So how many people in here know other real estate agents? Just to raise a hands. Right. And so that's why we call it agent attraction instead of recruiting. We hate the word recruiting because if you're out there and you're being productive in your business and other agents are looking at you thinking, gosh, what is William doing that is working so well, right? What is Ricky doing? Then agents are going to be naturally attracted to you. So that's why we call it agent attraction. But just to give a perspective on how powerful these numbers are, so I personally brought on 39 agents, Mr. Hamudi is going to be number 40 now, to the company, and I've hit 400 agents in 7 different states, okay? My rev share last year in stock increase was over $500,000. And just to put it in even further perspective, we own an apartment complex with 32 doors, and I net more most months in rev share than that apartment complex. Okay?
You don't have to rub it in my face all the time.
Yes, I do. So it's just a great perspective in what the power in this is. And so I'm going to show you guys. Now, most of everybody raised their hand in here. You know, real estate agent. Now, keep your hand up if you know 5 real estate agents. Okay, still everybody in this room, right? So if you know 5 real estate agents who are capping, and you introduce them to the company, and you help them introduce 5 real estate agents, the way this is set up, you've now unlocked level 2, as you can see, to $3,200 a year. So that's 30 total capping agents. That equates to $94,000 a year. Now, is there anybody here that $94,000 a year could significantly change their life? I hope everybody's hands come up. Come on, I mean, it's changed mine, right? So it's incredible what the opportunity is, because again, we're out there buying and selling. We're not taking away from our business, but we're rewarding you for attracting other real estate agents, which will naturally happen if you're productive in your business, right? But we're gonna take it a step further. Let's say we have a 5-10 year plan. We wanna get really crazy with this, right? We wanna introduce 10 real estate agents to the company, which I think you've done in the last 60 days, right? Why? Because he's put focus there. If you introduce 10 real estate agents and you help them become cappers, and they introduce 10 real estate agents each, so that's 110 capping agents in your group, it's $348,000 a year. Can you imagine if you put some of that toward retirement or put some of that toward your business, how that would increase your business? It will allow you to do a lot of things that you wouldn't be able to do before, right? I know it's allowed my family and I to take 16 vacations last year with our 2 boys, which is one of the primary reasons when I looked at EXP instead of becoming a broker owner, because I have my managing broker's license, was because if something ever happened to me, I didn't want to leave that burden on my kids. Okay, so this is willable.
And also, you're not limited only in Oklahoma City. You know, agents in Florida, you know.
We're gonna be out in Vegas next week. Somebody named Glenda's from Vegas, so.
Hooked her up with my mom and a bunch of my mom's real estate friends. Okay, paid it forward. Now I need to fire.
But again,
Just kidding. Just kidding.
So it just becomes part of your life, right? Who do you know that I can help with? And when you look at the EXP model and how we can help, number 1, their production, help their life, and help them create sustainability in their life, which is one of our core values, then it's no longer recruiting, it's helping change people's lives, which I think is probably one of the best jobs in the world. So that's the revenue share piece. Now I know that there's other models out there. I'll use Keller Williams for an example, and Keller Williams is a great company, so don't get me wrong, but they do what's called profit sharing. And so you do get a piece of the pie when you introduce other agents to the company. Now the biggest difference is it's based on the profitability of that market center. So what they do is they take the profitability, you have your overhead, your expenses, and then you have the profitability, right? And then they split half of that between the agents and half of it with the operating principal, okay? It was a great concept. But what Glenn Sanford did was take it a step further. What happens if we centralize and got rid of all these overhead expenses? Now instead of paying 50% on the bottom dollar, I can now pay an exact percentage off the top. And that's why these numbers are incredible.
And that's the biggest difference.
Right.
Because one's off profit, off brick and mortar, and
50% off profit, yeah.
And one's off the top, meaning I don't care what profits, it's off the top. That's the biggest difference. That's what I had to wrap my brain around. Once I understood that part, I was like, oh, that makes a lot of sense.
Because a lot of people think it's the same, and it's significantly different.
Significantly different.
Don't quote me on this. How much did the gentleman that we met with yesterday, he said the top profit share earner in the state made? Do you remember?
162,000.
162,000.
Yeah.
This is somebody that's been with the company for 30 years. And so you can see in comparison with what's possible with the revenue share, you know, it hopefully wouldn't take 30 years to do that. So
How many agents did he have, do you know?
he was one of the founding members. I mean, I'll keep his name, you know, just for confidentiality, but yeah. Founding members of KW here locally for 30 years. So again, don't quote me on that. That was hearsay. So this is our cloud office, and I know it seems silly to have an avatar. I love my avatar because she's much slimmer than I am in person, but that wasn't supposed to be funny. Robert, like People usually giggle, but it wasn't that funny normally. No, just kidding. But here's the cool thing is, so I know it's these, geeky little avatars. What the heck are you? These cartoon things. I promise you, after your third time logging in, you're gonna love it. You're gonna love the fact you don't have to go drive to a brick and mortar. You're gonna love the fact when it's ice and snow outside that you can sit home in your pajamas and nobody has any idea, and you're training with the best agents in the world. More so, you're gonna love the fact that because we have the cloud office and the low overhead, this is how we're able to give more money back to our agents. So it's kind of hard to explain, so I'm a visual person, so we're gonna give you
I still think this is the coolest thing ever.
super, super visual tour, so.
Once disconnected by distance, from impossible to possible. The elite, now the common. The lonely, now united. Now imagine a world created for connection. Welcome to our world. EXP World.
Welcome to EXP World.
Sorry, sometimes the internet connection skips out.
EXP, created for connection.
So does that make a little more sense now that you kind of got a visual of the avatars? Yeah, they did a backflip. We want to attempt that today in person.
Imagine how much time can save you this program. You don't have to go drive to the office every day, or have to go for a meeting. You can be home, you can be on vacation, all these classes.
So I'll give you an example. Obviously, my husband's from Israel, and so we were building a house, and we spent the entire month of June over there this summer, and I was still able to sell $1.5 million in sales personally. Right now, I refer a lot out, but still did that personally, and I didn't skip a beat because of the world and the other systems that we use. Everything was just direct deposited in my account, and nobody had any idea that I wasn't even here, right? So that's really the power of this, is being able to collaborate. And what I really like about it is not just local collaboration. Local collaboration is great, but at the end of the day, everybody in this room, for the most part, is still competition, right? I mean, that's still fair to say. I hate looking at it that way, but that's just reality, right? What happens is when you're training with other real estate agents and brokers across the country, they are willing to share their secrets and their secret sauce and the things that they've done, because they're not competition and you're not their competition in your eyes. So, things like even what William does, every Friday we have a class called iConversations. So they pick 3 icon agents, so agents doing production levels like William across the country, and they do an informal panel on best practices on how they got started. So it's pretty incredible. Now here's our systems and our solution. We have Enterprise, which is an awesome system. It's a proprietary system. This is really what everything is plugged into, right? So William touched on how you can see your stock awards. You can actually see your revenue share live. I know the other companies that you do get overrides off other agents, but to my knowledge, you can't actually see what you're gonna get paid that month. So it actually becomes part of your business model. Excuse me. We're completely paperless, so SkySlip is our transaction management system. You upload everything, boom, 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 broker checks it for approval. You get approved, you get your check at closing.
That's another thing, we save a lot of trees.
Save a lot of trees. We do, we're very environmentally friendly. And Glenda kills trees. No, I'm just kidding.
I don't kill trees.
And then the other part of this, so the collaboration is great in EXP World, but we take it a step further. We have a system called Workplace by Facebook. So if you imagine, I would think everybody here is on Facebook. It's a similar interface, but it's for only EXP agents. So you can imagine the amount of collaboration that goes on there. There are thousands of groups, anything from real estate investing, commercial, social media masterminds. They had people posting their listing presentations. all kinds of stuff. And if you can't find it on there, then you can start your own group and create one. So you're tapping into, again, 22,000 agents and all the knowledge that they have. William touched on our CRM and lead gen, so you're gonna get KV Core as part of your package. You're talking all-in-one integrated website, CRM, drip campaigns. Your leads come in, they're instantly texted and emailed on your behalf. I don't know about you guys, but I've been in the business long enough to where I had to create my own website and then get a third-party IDX, which is the MLS feed to that, and then a CRM, and they just didn't talk to each other, and it didn't work out, and it was thousands of dollars later. So what's nice about this is it's all integrated into one. It's super user-friendly to use. You don't have to be tech savvy, and so it's just incredible how you can grow your business with it. Branding and marketing, we have thousands of materials already available. So listing presentations, open house sign-in sheet, pretty much whatever you want, you just go in, plug in your information and download it. So you're not spending your time creating these things or reinventing the wheel, you're spending your time out there representing buyers and sellers. Now here's the fun stuff. We're gonna get into the numbers. Now I will preface this with, we are black and white, everybody's the same. There's no quote unquote special deals, which is actually one of the things that I love about the company. So we are all on an 80-20 commission split, 20% going to the company, 80% going to the agent, until you pay in $16,000 in company cap per your anniversary year, you'll go to 100%. And that's when William mentioned you'll kick in those transaction fees until you hit the 5,000 and you hit Icon. So you will not pay any transaction fee while you're on the 80-20. The only time an agent is different is if they're brand new, they've never done a transaction in their life, and they do have to go on a mentorship program, so they're on 60-40 for 3 transactions. We are $149 sign-up fee. It's basically to plug you into all of our systems. There's a lot of man hours that go into putting an agent into all of our systems. And then $85 a month. So again, no royalty, no office fees, nothing like that. It's black and white. The $85 is split up, $50 technology fee. That's for all the technology you saw, KV Core, which I think runs about $1,000 a month on its own. And then $35 university fee. So remember when I mentioned 75 hours of live training last week? You get that for $35 a month.
I have a question.
Yes.
You guys have to have CE just like an insurance agent does. So can you take CE on the...
They don't have a lot of CE because it's a little, just not to get too technical, you can't quite prove that an avatar
Gotcha.
person is still behind the desk.
That makes sense.
Now with that said, we do have a relationship with ceshop.com and we get a 25% discount. So it gets a little bit, and honestly, Oakmar right now is providing all the CE for free for agents. So, which by the way, if you guys are interested in real estate investing, I'm teaching a 2-hour class at Oakmar tomorrow from 10 to 9. We'll plug. Per file, we have a $25 broker review fee where the brokers are actually checking everything for compliance, and a $40 E&O risk management fee, but that caps at $500 a year. Okay? Again, black and white, there's no surprises with EXP. What we say we're gonna do is what happens, which unfortunately, happens from time to time. So you can see from our explosive growth, as I mentioned, I was here 5 years ago, agent number 333, now 22,000. I mean, it just looks like a hockey stick. I think we had like 201% growth last year, which is nuts. Here are our core values. Now, these are incredibly important. I will say that this is something the company lives by, so definitely look at these and make sure they align with your own. We've already touched on collaboration. We've touched on sustainability. Sustainability for the market, what happens when the recession hits and all these brick and mortars are gonna start scrambling. That's when we're gonna be sustainable being an online company, but also sustainable for the agent. Anybody familiar with the real estate roller coaster? You go up, what happens? You got some closings, we stop prospecting, and then what happens? We go down, and we do it over and over again. Well, if you participate in the stock and the revenue share, and not everybody does, but if you participate in it, you level that out, and that creates it sustainable for the agent, where you're no longer depending on transaction to transaction, which is what I wanted to get off of a long time ago. Okay, and of course we're fun. I'd like to think we're fun, so that's really important to us. But Robert's laughing off my avatar comment, so. Now here's one of the biggest misconceptions we hear about EXP. Because we pay out so much company dollar to our agents to attract, we hear that we're just a recruiting company, right? It couldn't be further from the truth. Because the agents that we're attracting to the company are the agents that are truly entrepreneurial, they're self-motivated, and they want something better. So if you look at the end here, it's sides, top brokerage sides number 4, number 6, these are nationwide. What that means is we have producing agents. We are attracting the best of the best. And we're attracting agents that want something better, that want to be at the top of their game. There we go. There's a little pause between it. So if you want to truly do your due diligence as we kind of wrap up here, you can go to join.exprealty.com, or you can get with the person who invited you here and they'll give you their career site. And the reason why is I want you guys just to go fill out the application and look at the independent contractor agreement, because that spells out everything black and white that we've talked about, number 1. And number 2, you can truly see if it's going to make sense for you. Because the last thing you want to do is go to your broker, your current broker, and say you're thinking about making a move to EXP, right? Because we've already shaken up the industry, and competition is competition, so they're not necessarily going to be happy about that. And so I would do your due diligence first. You read it black and white through this link. And actually, I'd ask that everybody sign in on the sign-in sheet. We're going to email out information later today as well that you guys can look at. We try to do this every Friday. I'm not going to be able to do it the next 2 Fridays just with us being out of town. But if you guys are interested, let us know and we can do a private webinar. But William and I both have classes of how to generate 100 leads in 10 days. I know that you guys have attended it before. This is an exact formula that I have tested myself and used to use when I ran a team using KV Core without spending a penny. We're talking about organic leads. Let's say you're on the low end of the 6% conversion rate of 100 leads. That is 6 closings coming from that. So it works, but it's an engine that you got to keep it moving. So